Hello everyone, my name is MJ Vilchas of Doodle Notes, and right now I'm gonna be showing to you a Timelapse of how I modeled Meowth in Blender. Now I'm calling it Timelapse because it's a tutorial time-lapse. It's a time-lapse of my modeling process of Meowth, and then I'm gonna be explaining how I did it as it goes. So yeah, Timelapse. Anyways, if you're one of my subscribers, and if you're wondering what's happening to Gregor right now, the thing that I can only tell is that I'm still planning a lot of stuff for the Underland project before resuming it, and I'm not sure if I'll be doing Gregor again or just resume what I just started. But yeah, you'll know more about that next week. Just don't worry about that. It's still coming. If you're one of the guys who's wondering about it. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna show you a Timelapse of my Meowth model. It's actually a model that I used for a short animation that I did for a collaboration project, and you're gonna be seeing that video soon enough. It's not up yet, the collaboration video, but it will be there. Also, if you do want to watch the animation, I'm gonna be depending on the permission that I get, I'm probably gonna post the FMR that I did so that I could show you the short animation. But yeah, that is all I need to talk about, I think. So yeah, let's just get started. So yeah, before starting, I actually prepared a reference image. I drew a reference image of Meowth. One is a front view, and the other is a side view. And I used the background image option on the tools menu to put it on the viewport. Just press N, and then there's a background image there. You can do that. So yeah, to model Meowth, I started with a plane, cut it in half, and then added a mirror modifier. And then I started forming his face from between the eyes. I actually like plane modeling because I think I get more control when I use plane modeling instead of box modeling. I actually tried this with box modeling, but I just don't like having those extra. I just don't like having a lot of vertices as I start, because as you add more vertices later on, it just gets so confusing for me. So yeah, I started with plane modeling, and then I started with the face, and then just formed a basic face topology. And you're actually gonna learn more about. Actually, one of the things that you need to study by yourself is face topology. There's a lot of tutorials out there on how you can create face topology, so I'm probably going to be covering that in the future if I know I'm a master of that already. But right now I'm not really that confident with my face topology. It's something that I do for my own characters, but it's not something that I would recommend for you guys. But yeah, this topology that I'm trying to form right here is just something that I got from watching a lot of tutorials and watching some references, and you can follow it if you want, if you're trying to model Meowth. But this is how I did it. And one of the things that I actually tell myself, or I make sure as I model, is that I need to model the character with as less vertices as I can. Not really that low poly, but just not too much vertices that would make the model really heavy and really difficult to animate, even with the subsurf modifier on. Yeah, right here I turned on. Just a while ago I turned on the subsurf modifier to smoothen it up, so that I prevent myself from adding more edges to make curves. Because sometimes if you don't have a subsurf modifier and then you want things being smoothly curved, you add more vertices, but you shouldn't do that. Let the subsurf modifier do its job. And actually, it's just one of my rules. Just don't use too much vertices, especially when you're planning to animate and you have a very slow machine like mine. My laptop can't handle when the model is just too much. Yeah. Also, it's not that confusing for me. But yeah, trying to form the face here, the mouth. I'm not starting inside the mouth yet because it's one of the parts that I find very challenging, and sometimes it really scares me to just model the inside of the mouth. But yeah, just fixing up the vertices right here, and then trying to just form Meowth's face. Meowth's face is actually kind of easier than a human's face because he doesn't have a nose and it's a cartoony face. There's not really that much rule you need to follow except for the basic face topology rule. I think Andrew Price have a nice video explaining face topology. You can find it on his channel. I'll be putting up links in the description or an annotation. So yeah, just forming up the face, trying to close gaps. This is one of the things that I love about plane modeling. And you can decide where to add the edges or the vertices. Whereas if it's a box modeling, you're already gonna have vertices on that part of the face, and then sometimes it's really confusing to add more edges there, add more vertices there to form the face. So yeah, that's why I like plane modeling, because you have more control. But yeah, it really depends on what you're comfortable with. If you like box modeling, then go for it. If you find it easier to do that, there's no really. I think when it comes to art or anything that is covered in our area, in this kind of area, in the area of art, I really think that there's no rule, that you can't really go crazy with whatever you have right there. You can go crazy with whatever tools you have. Just do anything you want. I mean, of course there are basic rules, but they're more like guidelines, where just guiding you. Doesn't mean you have to follow them. This is one of the things that I think an artist should have mentally. Should have a mind. Artists should have a mind like that. I mean, I think that artists are actually rule breakers, and we don't really follow the rules that much. But of course, we also respect them, because they're there to guide you, to keep you in line with stuff. Yeah, like I said, I'm using as low vertices as I can, just enough to form the ears right there, just to make it look awesome a little bit. Also, this model is kind of rushed because I really want to start on the Inland project already, and I just have to finish this collaboration video, a Pokemon collab video, and I got the Meowth. I'm assigned to animate Meowth. So yeah, I decided to 3D animate Meowth and model him, and I really want to finish it no matter what. So here it is. And also, I can't really model this thing like straight. I can't model it straight because I have to take care of my little sister. Right now she's sleeping. It's the only thing I can. The only time that I'd be able to do something like this. But yeah, enough of that. Anyways, yeah. Just closing up the face here, finishing up the head. Just trying to make sure that everything's even. There's no poles that have a lot of edges connected to it. That's one of the things that I also have to remind myself about when modeling. I have to make sure that there are lesser poles. Because poles creates pinch and some really weird stuff happening on the head if you have a lot of poles in it. Yeah, there it is. Head's almost finished. Just lining up some stuff and then smoothing things out using the smooth brush in sculpt mode, and then adding more edge loops to emphasize edges, and just cleaning things up for the head. And yeah, that's just it. That's the head right there. I'm not gonna modeling. I'm not gonna be modeling the mouth, the inside of the mouth for a while, because that part scares me. So yeah, there. Just trying to, Meowth is a 2D character, and trying to convert a 2D character into a 3D character proves to be very challenging. Because one, you have to consider the factors, a lot of different factors about the character, like what character is the 2D character. In this case, Meowth is a cat, not a mouse. Meowth is a cat, so I need to form his nozzle right there. His nose part. Is that nozzle? Not sure, but yeah, just to form that into like a cat-like nozzle with a, you know, you can see it right there. Yeah, it's challenging to model a 2D character into 3D because sometimes you just don't get, you know, you just won't get the real look. And yeah, actually, there's a lot. I think there's a lot struggling to do that, to like get the look. You know, just make sure you have a reference image ready. Just don't try to do it like through your imagination, unless you're a really talented artist, and maybe you can do that. But most of us can't really picture out stuff, so you're gonna need a reference image to not stray away from the actual look of the character that you're trying to copy. Even if it's a character, even if it's an original character, it's important that you have a concept. You have a lot of concept arts on that character, and then you have reference images. Depending on how you want to work, if a reference image of a character in a different pose is enough for you, then good. But if you're like me, who wants to have a reference that is really on a T pose, then yeah, do that. But yeah, here I'm forming the eyes, trying to make sure that I include the eyelids. One of the things that I easily overlook in the past are the eyelids. So right now I'm just making sure that I include that there. Maybe you're also like that, but yeah. One of the things I overlook, and then I only realize I did not include the eyelids when I'm already rigging, and things would be really too late when that happens. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you watch for now, and I'm gonna come back later when something important needs to be explained. So yeah, I'm going. So yeah, here I'm forming the eyes. This is actually me experimenting. I'm not really sure if this is gonna work, but yeah, I use a sphere. I can't really use a perfect sphere for the eyes because Meowth's eyes it won't fit for a cartoonified character from Meowth as a character. So yeah, here I'm just experimenting with the eyes. I used a sphere, cut it in half, and then flattened it and scaled it around to fit in the eye area right there, and then adjusting the eyelids to make sure that there are no open gaps between the eyes and the eyelids. So yeah, experimenting on the eyes and then trying to fix the face as I think about how I'm gonna continue working on the eyes. One of the things that I do too is to just fix the model around while thinking how I'm gonna continue, because I'm right now I'm just experimenting how I'm gonna create its eyes. I have no idea how I'm gonna be doing it. I have a bit of an idea, but I don't know if it's gonna work. But yeah, just fixing the head model here, and then yeah, after thinking while fixing, I ended up thinking of a way to do it. And I did it by duplicating. Crap. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I did that by duplicating. Yeah, I did that by duplicating the eyes. Duplicating the existing eye that I did using the sphere, and then forming it, or scaling it around to copy Meowth's cat eyes, the really flat oval pupil thing. One of the things that's actually why I can't do it with a perfect sphere, because of that kind of eye. And maybe you can do it with texture, but I decided to do it with mesh. I think it would be easier to rig it that way. than to try to do it with texture. Yeah, just fixing up the face right here, fixing the ears. Never stop fixing. Actually, even after you're finished with the model, you're probably gonna be ending up fixing a lot. That's what I did. This is actually not the final look of the head. I fixed some stuff of it, just moving on the vertices around, nothing big. Yeah. Now moving on to the body, and I did that by just extruding an edge loop from the head down to the neck, down from the neck to the bottom of the body, and then I added, just fixing up, smoothing things out, then adding an arm right there by deleting a vertex, and making sure that there are 8 vertices from the actual model. I think well, that was one of the common things that I do when modeling. I make sure that there are 8 vertex before extruding out some stuff. I always start with 8 vertex and then put a perfect circle there, because I want to work with a new circle instead of extruding from the main mesh. I want to create another circle, a perfect circle, so that it's easier to just scale it around, go for a look, start from a perfect circle before scaling it around or moving it around, and then connecting it to the main mesh. Just making sure that the vertices from the main mesh is equal to the vertices on the new circle that you're creating. Here I'm creating the finger, one of the fingers, using another perfect circle, scaling it around, making it not a circle anymore, and then just creating a finger, forming a finger. Not connecting it to the external, the main mesh yet, because of that, duplicating the finger. It'd be easier to select it if it's not connected. So yeah, just create one finger and then duplicate that finger to make the other fingers by scaling it around and moving it in a certain position. So yeah, Meowth only has 3 fingers based on the 2D reference that I have, based on the references that I have, based on the cartoon character. He only has 3 fingers and no thumb, which made things easier, because I always find it challenging to add the thumb. So yeah, just fixing up. That's the hand right there. I think it's awesome already, but I could have done something better. But that's how it works. That's how I did it, and it worked. It worked just as I needed it to be. It doesn't have to work that well. But yeah, like I said, it's a rush model, but I tried to do it as best as I can, and I think it turned out great. Yeah, just if you think it's awesome, just tell me in the comments below. And you can download the model for free to study it closer. It's going to be for free. And yeah, right here I'm just like, I like it to just start with a new set of vertices, a perfect circle, instead of extruding it from the main mesh, because it's easier to start with the perfect circle and then just scaling it around than to extrude an imperfect circle in an irregular shape and then fixing it to create a circle. It's easier to do that than to extrude. Yeah, just connecting the gaps, making sure that the topology of the model flows well. It doesn't look confusing and ugly. Which, if you don't have a nice topology, it would be a very big problem for you later on, especially when you're trying to fix things, because it's gonna get confusing, really confusing, when the topology looks like crap. It looks like crap. But yeah, if you have a nice topology, you're gonna really save a lot of time, because a nice topology would also help you a lot during the rigging, because the blender will be able to do its job properly. Will be able to to apply automatic weights properly if you have a nice topology. So yeah, right here, just closing up some stuff. So closing up the gap on the body, and then the the leg. Just fixing the leg, scaling it around, adding edge loops to emphasize the connected parts, and then here creating the tail using the same method as I did with the hand, with the arm. Just like putting a perfect circle, and then making sure to cut it in half, because we're at mirror mode. We have the mirror modifier, so make sure to cut the thing in half. If you're adding something in the middle, make sure to cut it in half because there's a mirror modifier. Once you apply a mirror modifier with a full something, once you apply it, you're gonna have two of things, and you're gonna have doubles. You don't want to have. Make sure you cut things in half when you have a mirror modifier. If you're working at the middle part, like how I'm working with the tail here. So yeah, for Meowth's tail, I actually decided to, just model it like this. Like that coil part, I'm not sure if it unravels, if it uncoils, but based on some clips that I watched and reference images, I think that Meowth's tail don't really uncoil. It's really stuck like that. The coiled tail, Meowth's coiled tail. And I don't know, I'm not really that much of a fan of Pokemon. I don't know, I did not watch the anime. I mean, I only watched a couple of episodes, and I think Meowth's tail did not uncoil, like ever. It's like stuck on that kind of a form. So yeah, just doing that on Meowth's tail, forming it on that permanent coiled position, and making sure there's a pole right there to add the pinch effect, so that it looks like it's coiled. You're probably gonna do it in sculpt mode, but I prefer to just model it right here. Sculpt mode might add more vertices on that thing, and you're probably gonna have to add the multi-texture modifier. I don't know, I'm not really that, I'm not a sculptor. So yeah, now starting with the feet, with the one foot, because it's mirrored, so when you're working with the other side, automatically the other side will be formed, because that's one of the magic of the mirror modifier. Actually, I think it's best to add the mirror modifier first, before trying to edit the other half. Like if you want the other arm to be bigger, I always want it to be equal, like symmetrical, like really symmetrical. So yeah, to create the toes, what I did is just duplicate the fingers. Just took one finger, duplicated it, and then scaled it around to add the toes. And then as I finishing that toe, I just duplicate it to create the other toes, and there we have it. We have Meowth's toes, his toes. So yeah, after fixing things up, just connecting it to the feet. I'm not sure if I'm doing a great job, but it works. I'm not gonna be moving the feet that much. So yeah, just making sure that it just connects in a nice way. Yeah, connecting stuff and closing gaps. So yeah, one of the tip that I can leave, I think, is that on the feet area or anything you want to flatten out, if there's like a group of faces like that, like what I'm doing, if you want to flatten that part of the face, all you need to do is like select the whole group of faces, press S for scale, and then press Z if you want to flatten it to the ground. Press Z to scale it on the Z axis, and then press 0. SZ is 0, and then that would just scale that face. That would just flatten the whole face to the Z axis, making it flat on the ground. That's how I flatten Meowth's foot right there. So yeah, just fixing up the foot, Anyways, if you don't know how I isolated Meowth's feet right there, you can do that by pressing Alt B. If you press Alt B, there's a square that will come out where it allows you to select which part you just want to keep, and if you click that, if you left click that, you're gonna only see that part, and the other parts will be hidden. That part will be isolated. Would help you a lot if you just want to model the feet and you don't want to see that. If you don't want the head to like get in the way, especially when you're on top view mode or the bottom view mode. And also one of the way to, so that you won't end up editing the rest of the body while editing the feet. So yeah, now I'm starting with inside the mouth. Starting inside the mouth. This is the part that scares me actually. This is why I put it last, because I'm always scared starting it. Yeah. When I model the mouth, I do not separate the teeth, because I think it's just difficult to do that. When you rig it, it's difficult to rig it. And yeah, I don't know. Right now I just decided to connect the teeth and the gum area to the mouth, and then finishing up the mouth right here, just extruding some part of the faces. Right here I'm just really careful, because if I extrude the whole edge loop, it becomes really confusing, and I need to fix a lot of vertices after that. There's more control if I extrude it bit by bit instead of extruding it as a whole, like what I'm doing right now, extruding a whole edge loop like that. I want to start it with that. Yeah, right now I'm adding the uvula, the important part of the mouth, I think, because it adds it adds interest to the mouth, especially when you show the character, when you animate the character shouting. That uvula right there just adds a lot of detail moving around, you know. I think you can relate to what I'm saying. That uvula plays a really important role. That's why I included it right there. The mouth. Inside the mouth should have a uvula. And a tongue, of course. You don't want to forget about the tongue. Just a basic extrusion. Just something that's something that's not new. Starting with a circle, perfect circle, and then scaling it around to create this tongue and the uvula. And now I'm working with the teeth, and for the teeth I decided to just do a mesh. Just do it with a mesh. Form a mesh into a teeth shape. I decided to not make it that much detailed, because I don't want to have to like spend a lot of time on the teeth, because you know, this is just a cartoon character. It doesn't have to have a detailed teeth. But if you want to pull off like a realistic, fully detailed Meowth, you can do that. But in my case, I just did this simple mesh teeth that forms the whole teeth, not just one single teeth. The only single teeth that I modeled by itself is that pointy teeth right there. Pointy tooth right there. I don't know what that's. I forgot what it's called. Is it canine teeth? Canine tooth? I don't know. Yeah, that's the only tooth that I modeled by itself. The rest I modeled as a group in one mesh. And I think it works. It looks fine. And one of the edits that I did out of this video is I edited it so that the upper teeth and the lower teeth are close together, because right now they're too far apart from each other. The upper teeth is like more at the front side, the front and the back. The teeth is more. Yeah, one of the things I fixed is get them closer to just give Meowth a nice smile. Yeah, just fixing stuff up. Finger area, and just trying to align it on the reference image. Anyway, now I'm starting with the coin on Meowth's forehead with a plane. I started it by adding a plane on the inside the Meowth mesh. I decided to put it with the Meowth mesh because I don't want to have another mesh outside of the Meowth mesh. I don't know, I just did it like that. I just did it like that. You can actually do it with a separate mesh outside of the Meowth mesh, but for me, I decided to do it with by putting the coin thing with the Meowth model, not outside. So yeah, just forming the coin there by extruding and adding edge loops where the edges are, to just emphasize edges right there, adding edge loop, because subsurface modifier is turned on. That's why the coins, you know, all has got a lot of those curves, which I fixed using by adding edge loops to just, you know, make it look that basic coin right there on his forehead, and there we go, it's finished. And then now we add the whiskers. Are those whiskers? I don't really know what is. I'm not sure if it's whiskers, but I'm gonna be using whiskers for that. So yeah, now I'm working on Meowth's whiskers, and my first plan for that is to actually do it with particle systems, a hair. But I decided not to do that because, you know, since I want to finish this animation right away, this model right away, I decided not to do it with hair particles because I want to render it fast. So yeah, at this point, we're done. We're finished with Meowth model, the basic model, and the things that I'm just doing here is just editing it, just fixing things up. You know, making sure that the vertices are properly positioned, making sure that the faces are smooth, and stuff like that. Nothing. So yeah, that's just. I think at this point the Meowth model is finished. Just later on, you just have to just fix it. Yeah. The next part of the video will be, you know, we'll be putting some texture on him, putting some materials on him, and since I'm only gonna be rendering this in Blender Internal, yeah, I'm just gonna use some simple, you know, simple materials, and simple texture. So yeah, that's it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you've learned something from this. If you have something you want to ask, just ask in the comments below. Like the video if you want to see more contents like this. Share it to your friends if you know some of your friends that might actually find this useful. If you want to see the Meowth in motion, just click on that annotation right there. Also, don't forget you can download this model for free. The link will be in the description below. Consider subscribing if you want to be notified when the next video is going to be coming up. Just explore the channel, explore those links right there. Go to our blog site to be updated regularly. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Won't be keeping you further. Yeah, my name is MJ Vilchas of Doodle Notes, bringing forth awesomeness to glorify the awesome. Over and out.